Cars rolling off of pit road, all 43 of them getting ready to go 300 miles on this mile-and-a-half track at the Kansas Speedway, 5th race for the NASCAR Busch Series here. And take a look at the starting grid for today's race. On the front row, Martin Truex Jr. and John Wood. Along behind them, Regan Smith, Casey Kane, row 3, Jason Leffler, and David Green.
Back in row 4, Greg Biffle, Bernie Lamar, the 33 car, Mark Martin, Clint Boyer, Johnny Sauter, and last year's winner, Joe Nemechek.
Row 7, Joel Kaufman on the inside, Jerry Robertson on the outside, Colorado boys, Bobby Labonte, former Nextel Cup champion on the inside, Matt Kenseth, former champion on the outside, also pole sitter for tomorrow, Paul Menard, Elliott Sadler. Oh, Elliott Sadler's the pole. Who is the pole sitter? Matt Kenseth, isn't he?
Matt Kenseth is.
Elliott was.
For a while, he sure was. Row 10, Kevin Harvick and Reed Sorensen. And row 11, Carl Edwards next to Justin Labonte. Row 12, Todd Bodine making a Busch Series start this week next to Brent Sherman.
And then we've got guys back in row 13, Keller and Stremme, Kenny Wallace, Kyle Busch, and Dave Blaney.
Denny Hamlin on the inside of row 16. Michelle Jourdain and Rusty Wallace, one of the 3 Wallace brothers in today's event on the outside of row 17.
"14 drivers in today's race will also race here tomorrow, including 5 of the drivers that are in the chase for the Nextel Cup Championship. Mile-and-a-half track, 300 miles, a full house on a beautiful October Saturday in Kansas City. Glad you're along for the ride."
Oh, the A-car drifts up the racetrack. John Wood had an opening there for a second, could not take advantage, and Truex leads that first lap.
And that's 5 bonus points for Martin Truex Jr.
Outside group doesn't look too bad down in 1 and 2.
David Green, 27, on the inside of the 33 car. Bernie Lamar, young man out of California.
Down here's where it gets a little bit narrow.
Dicey.
Yeah, the groove isn't as wide down in 3 and 4 as it is in 1 and 2 yet.
On board with Bernie Lamar as he goes down in turn 1. Marty, this young man is looking for some experience today, isn't he?
Absolutely, VP, and he is the next Kevin Harvick protege. You know, the first one worked out. He's up there beside you in the booth, so that didn't work out too good, did it, Wally? But I'm just kidding, Wally. But this kid is a young man. He's 25 years old, out of California, and Harvick fielded him in 2 races this year in the West Series, and he won both of them at Phoenix and California. A lot of talent behind that wheel. They're trying to cultivate it and get him in some more Busch Series races later on this year and next year.
You gonna sit there and take that, Wally? Or just
don't worry, I'm just rubbing my hands. It's a long weekend. Marty led the first lap,
yes,
but
he did.
It's a long race.
Looking back at David Green.
Lamar is running in the, what, 6th position? David Green. They were struggling with that car yesterday. It looks like they've got it pretty good today.
Well, and that's what they'll be working on all day, BP. A lot of these drives will be working on how well
Crash, trouble in turn 1 and 2. Multi-car crash.
Elliott Sadler's in it. David Stremme.
Justin Labonte.
Come on, Justin, roll.
A lot of damage to the Elliott Sadler car right there.
So Elliott will not get
Run in the back of me. You're in the run.
Oh, man. David Stremme. His day is over. A lot of left side damage to that car, and he's sitting up against the right side.
Let's take a look.
The 90 car said someone ran in the back of him.
I think he just lost it trying to avoid the crash that was happening in front of him.
It's Justin Labonte.
It also looks like 41. Is that the 41 car?
Reed Sorensen gets in the left rear of the 14th, what it looks like.
That's Stremme in the 14. Early trouble for those guys, but very fortunate a number of cars were not involved.
And those cars are going in turn one at 190 miles per hour. So it's great to see Stremme walking away from that crash.
An early caution here at Kansas, something Wally was concerned about. So Carl Edwards brings the field to the green. 34 laps in the books at Kansas.
Mark slides up into Rusty Wallace. He had to get by there pretty quick. He didn't want to get blocked behind that 49 car. Steve Grissom.
And Grissom does a great job in moving over, let the cars two abreast go by.
Harvick and Regan Smith.
That yellow 11 car, Paul Menard, another driver, has been doing a terrific job the last 3 or 4 months of the NASCAR Busch Series schedule.
He certainly has. On board with Harvick. Regan Smith trying to take the position on the outside.
Yeah, got a good run off of turn 2. I'm impressed with these guys. These guys are doing a really good job today.
Second place, Truex Jr. and Greg Biffle. AB.
A couple things. Martin Truex is having a little trouble with his radio, a little interference. So they're trying to fix that and figure it out under this caution. They made a tire pressure adjustments. When he gets on the gas in the center of the corner off, that's where he needs the help trying to deal with somebody like Biffle. Marty?
And a great stop for the Subway guys. It was 12 or 13.4 seconds, I should say. Car was just a little bit tight, and what they did, they made that wedge adjustment. Biffle said, I'm worried about it in the long run. If it's this tight, this early in the run, I think if we have a long run here, it would really be way too tight to drive. So that's why they made that wedge adjustment, trying to just ensure themselves for the longer run.
So I guess that's one reason he lost the spot to Truex, because now, early on in the run, the car is just a little bit too loose. Talk about the 66 of Biffle.
That's John Wood in fourth behind Biffle. And Mark Martin. And this is interesting back here. Dave, you got Rusty Wallace today?
Rusty Wallace took on 2 tires on that stop, Bill. And it wasn't so much that they worked on that during the Busch practice yesterday. It's that they want to try it today for, you know what, that big Nextel Cup race tomorrow. So Rusty taking notes as they took on 2 right sides and a slight adjustment for a tight race car on the 64.
Different guys, different missions today.
That's right.
And Johnny Sauter in that 1 car, the blue car, unusual paint job for him, but
I like that paint job.
I do too. It's beautiful.
I think they should keep that.
And it's painted that way because of the United Way. Yellow, his sponsor, Yellow Transportation, sponsored this race and gave it to the United Way, trying to get the local Kansas City folks involved in their community.
Yellow Transportation and Sprint, the co-race sponsors here.
Both located in this area.
Johnny's on the move. Just took 7th spot away from David Green, and he's moving up on the back bumper of Rusty Wallace. Looks like he's going to take the low side, and that's 4 tires talking right there.
Alan?
Hey, race drivers trying to do other athletic feats, how well does that usually work?
Not
very
too
well.
good.
The kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs is here as Johnny Sauter's guest today, Lawrence Tyne. He taught Johnny how to kick a football this morning. Johnny's race car is doing better than his football kick was.
Truex going back to the lead in the 8 car, has gotten by Carl Edwards. So did Biffle in 66.
I think that 8 car is going to be something to watch the rest of this race.
maybe the rest of the season.
Yeah, well, I think you're right, because they've certainly struggled in recent weeks, and they've surrendered that huge point lead. Now they've regrouped and refocused. Bobby Labonte in the 19 inside of Rusty Wallace. Marty Snyder on Bobby Labonte.
And while he was talking about how those 4 tires do the talking on the racetrack, that's exactly the case for Bobby Labonte. He said the car was very loose on the last run when he was underneath someone in the middle of the corner. But other than that, he said the car was outstanding. They did not make any chassis changes to the car, just 4 fresh tires.
Oh, me. I thought that Menard in the 11 car has gone for a ride into the wall off turn 4, but somehow I got it back under control.
He was going to make a big splash, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But he saved it.
If we'd had certain...
There's another wreck happening almost.
Jason Keller in the 35. If we'd had what?
If we'd had this 11 car anywhere close to the surface television show, it would have been a huge splash, yes.
Dave Burns.
And Paul Menard commenting on the driving style of at least one other driver he is has among him right now, saying they are, or he is, all over the place. They told him, get him back one at a time. We have a good race car. That's a word from Dan Stillman, crew chief, and that is the way you got to approach it now. You lose 3 or 4 positions, Wally, you just got to pick them off one at a time if you got a good car.
Especially if you got a good race car, you just regroup. Like these guys were saying, he's lucky he didn't get into the wall there, so no damage to the car. Go back after it.
These two have calmed down for the moment.
And he is going back after
Yes,
it.
he is.
Wow, look at this punch back.
Yeah.
Here we go. And that's...
I mean, see, what's wrong with this kind of racing? I think it's pretty doggone exciting.
Stacy Compton there got a little bit loose, but he gathered it back up. And there's Nemechek on the high side. Matt, is this car working any better? He lost a few spots in the pits there.
It is not working any better. In fact, when he came by the front stretch, they said, how's your car? He said, terrible. This is all right when you get yourself settled in. Tell us what terrible really means. It was really bad down in 3 and 4. They made an air pressure and chassis adjustment, but it really hasn't fixed anything.
And Carl Edwards recaptures the lead from Martin Truex.
You mean Biffle?
I'm sorry, Biffle, yes, thank you.
And I think BP was right when he said that Biffle's car, just like the start of the race, Biffle's car really started working later in the run.
Now you just got to hope that this thing goes, the last part of the race is 15, 20 laps long.
Green, yeah.
It's Convo 9 in front of Mike Wallace there. There's the 9 of Mark Martin and John Wood in the 41.
Mark Martin just taking that spot away, 4th spot.
Every lap, Mark is thinking, what's this car doing, and how can I translate that into my car tomorrow? Every lap he's thinking that.
And he's probably on the radio talking to Pat Tristan, his crew chief, saying, Pat, I just found out we need more right front shock. We need this, we need that.
Remind me to tell you about this
Yeah, exactly.
when the race is over.
Matt?
BP, you're exactly right. Pat Trison's on the box, dissecting what the car was in the first run. Mark really wanted a long run to really feel out the race car. We had a couple of those cautions, though, but the biggest thing he has learned, track position is everything, and he expects that to be the same tomorrow. They made some adjustments to try to work out that tightness. He's just trying to settle in right now, but on that first run, he was half a second slower than the leaders.
And I see Mark was down on the apron there. That's sometimes when your car is tight, you drop your left front tire on the apron. That will loosen the car up, help it turn a little bit.
And Clint Boyer in that 2 car. He's getting closer and closer to Sauter. In front of his hometown people, Alan, he wants to do well.
Well, he's got a couple things going on, BP, besides the hometown. First of all, he knows Martin Truex has led a lap today and collected 5 bonus points toward the championship. He wants to find a way to get to the front and even that score so they're racing head-to-head. The other thing is, he knew they were starting back in traffic and that it would take a while for this line to sort out. Once the line sorted out and he had that cleaner air on the nose of his car, pressing it down to the racetrack, Boyer thinks he can start to pick him off and move his way up.
Reed Sorensen in 41, Regan Smith 58. I guess that's J.J. Yaley in 18.
Yes, sir. Marty?
Well, he came in on the last pit stop, Bill. The car was a little too tight. They took a pound out of the right front tire trying to loosen up that car. His biggest concern now, the water temperature. It's suddenly gone up. He said, is there trash on my grill, guys? Something going on there? They have been looking at it through binoculars for the last few laps. Best they can tell, no trash on the grill, so they're a little worried about why the water temperature has suddenly gone up. 265, he says, on the oil, 235 on the water.
That's not that bad, though. I mean, they can live with that as water temperature 235. Even 240 is okay on these cars.
Doesn't look like he has any debris on the grill, but we saw in qualifying today a piece of plastic. Someone run over a piece of plastic. Now, if that were lodged in there, we might not be able to see it.
He also had that contact earlier in the race. That might have some effect on it.
And the ductwork for the radiator is a very tight fit, and it doesn't take much of a bang up there to get some of that
Block it off, yeah.
the ductwork dislodged, and therefore the car would run a little bit warmer.
Carl Edwards had a right front tire issue. That happened under green. It stayed green. That cost Carl a couple of laps.
Aaron Fike at 43 hits the wall up at turn 3, brings out the caution flag.
121 laps are complete. Greg Biffle is the race leader. Let's take you through the field. Here's Marty Snyder.
Well, Bill Weber, just 2 questions from Greg Biffle. How fast are we going right now? What are our lap times? And actually, it's 3 questions. And how far back is the 1 car? He knows Johnny Sauter's coming, knows he's a little bit faster than him right now. He's talking about taking a half round out of the left rear wedge bolt. Just a little bit too tight for Biffle right now. Alan?
Well, Johnny Sauter has flown his way up to 2nd spot, trying to chase down Greg Biffle for that race lead. Sauter's car drawing some attention from some of those he's just passed, like Martin Truex's crew chief Kevin Mannion. Looking at the left front fender on Sauter's car that looks like it's been bent out a little bit, and saying that, well, a caution flag's out.
Trouble up in turns 3 and 4.
One car has spun, another car is slow. Regan Smith.
More than spun.
It's like the left rear tire blew. That's what caused the spin. And once again, you hate to see those left side impacts, but we see Regan is moving around in the car. Thank God for safer barriers.
Safer barrier is a construction along the outside retaining wall designed to soften the blow of these dramatically hard hits. This is well in progress here.
And there we see the left rear tire off his car. Pretty sure that's what caused the crash. Man, look at the debris flying everywhere.
Dave Blaney will be the lucky dog. Right now, the safety crew's looking to get Regan Smith out of his car. .123 laps of 200 are complete. And this will take a big chunk out of Greg Biffle's lead, like all of it.
Right now, should be a lot of action on the pit lane when they come back around to make stops at lap 124. Here's the way they're running before these stops. Greg Biffle, Johnny Sauter, and Martin Truex Jr.
Well,
third.
all these cars will be on pit road.
Jason Kane is 6th. Jason Leffler 7th.
One more stop after this, so they need to make whatever adjustments they really need so that last stop can be as fast as possible.
Pit road is open, and here they come. Matt?
Mark Martin runs 5th. Now, he said the changes they made in the last stop made the car worse. They're going to make a significant chassis adjustment on this stop. Even though Mark's times had leveled off, he was 7.5 seconds back of the leader. Snyder?
Biffle says the car is just a little bit tight, not too bad as we told you in through the field. They took a round out of the left rear, a half round actually out of the left rear, 4 tires, and they pulled a windshield tear off. Dave?
Bottom of your screen, Casey Kane loose in, tight through the middle. They will make a track bar and air pressure adjustment to try to correct the 6-car. Alan?
Johnny Sauter pitting from 2nd place. No adjustments, 4 tires. Watch that left front fender just in front of the tire. The team has been instructed by a NASCAR official down here on pit road to push that in on the pit stop. And you see they gave it a little attention there.
Put his hands on it. Now, how hard he pushed, I don't know.
Very little.
Here we go again. Look who's right behind the race leader. That 9-car, Mark Martin.
Clint Boyer's in 3rd. This could be a big points day for him if he can stay right there and Martin gets hung up in traffic, but Truex has moved to the 16th spot.
Johnny Sauter, that one car, seemed to be struggling a little bit with the traffic.
His first couple of laps, he doesn't seem quite as fast as he is after he gets going. Biffle, Martin, Clint Boyer. There's Johnny Sauter trying to get around Justin Labonte.
And he's got to look in the mirror because there's Casey Kane in that 6. Matt Kenseth in 17 right behind him.
Labonte is 2 laps down. We check with Marty.
Bill Matt is not very happy with his car, meaning Matt Kenseth in the 17 car. Here was the quote under the last caution: "We are junk. I don't know what the problem is, but this car is terrible." And by the way, they can make it all the way on fuel.
Well, thank you much. Thank you very much, Marte. Well, I tell you what, that car for tomorrow in the NASCAR Nextel Cup race, the Banquet 400, that car isn't jumped. Talking about Matt Kenseth.
Oh boy, on the pole.
The pole.
And in the chase for the championship. Allen on Johnny Sauter.
Bill, your observation before about Johnny needs a few laps to get rolling?
Yes, sir.
Bingo, that is it. Once they get going a few laps, he expects he can keep pace with or outrun some of these cars in front of him.
Weber, congratulations.
First time you've been right all year. Very nice.
Thank you. I'll try harder, I promise.
It does look like that he's put a few car lengths on the 6 car of Casey Kane, talking about Johnny Sauter in that blue 1.
But the problem is he's already lost, 2 seconds on the leader.
Dave.
William, that 6 car of Casey Kane, I guess you could say he's a hungry driver trying to make his way to the front of the field here. He is a car who can make it if he'll just conserve a little, which he has been doing under caution. And as far as the handling goes, they feel like they've gotten a lot of the problems out of the 6, so he may be able to race to the win.
So, Dave, he's trying to migrate to the front. Is that correct?
Yes, you could say that, and you just did.
Well, yeah, not normally, though.
That's something the Ducks did or something.
Biffle is pulled out to lead by just under a second over Mark Martin. There's Kane. Ashton Lewis, Mike Wallace. Wallace in the 38.
Dave Blaney, the white 31. Like Joe Nemechek, the 87 car in front of these fellas.
It's Brent Sherman, who brought out the caution a few laps ago. 22 of Kenny Wallace off the pace. Allen?
Hang on. He's got to find somebody to tell. Oh, you want me to tell you what's going on, right?
Yeah.
And I just said, hang on, I got to find somebody to tell me what's wrong.
We'll wait
I'll
here.
be with you in just a second.
Don't know. I'm getting ready to wreck right now, so whatever it is.
Hey, Allen, never mind. We found out.
Left rear side of flat tire, it's a loose wheel.
He
Loose
thinks
wheel.
it might be a flat tire, but he can't figure out whether it's the left rear or the right rear. Or did he just say that?
He
said loose
He
wheel.
said it might be a loose wheel. He thinks it's a loose wheel.
Hey, you can count on me. I've got the story for you right here.
You got a lot of guys down there today, though, don't you?
I'll tell you what, it's been a busy day.
We stay under the green.
A lot of pressure Johnny Sauter's getting right now from Casey Kane.
I will tell you that Martin Truex has now moved up to the 12th position. Clint Boyer still in 3rd.
And Biffle now by a second over Mark Martin.
What's great to see Casey Kane using that outside line and making some headway. That's going to assure us of a good race tomorrow. 2 distinct grooves.
I think we will see a good race here tomorrow. This track is really coming along. One of the new speedways on the NASCAR circuit. Kane staying up high.
Looks like he gets a little bit of ground coming off of turn 4, but can't really do anything with him. Allen, you got more on Kenny Wallace?
Yeah, well, you know what those lug holes in the wheel look like when the tire's loose?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, they get kind of oval instead of round. That's what's up on Kenny Wallace's left rear tire that just came off the car.
Boy, can't imagine that feels too good when that starts vibrating around. Dave Burns.
we've been talking about Casey Kane in this 6 car, but we've seen a variety of different drivers in that car this year, including Erin Crocker, who you see in the left part of your screen there. Erin not in the car today. She's next going to be in a car at Memphis Motor Speedway, but listening all day long. Earlier I spoke about a 20-lap period where they discussed the changes on the car, and they talked about what worked and what didn't work and what they should do next time. That's all valuable data for Erin as she learns not only how to drive these things, but how to tune them and what to look for.
She was watching the monitor, wasn't she?
And she saw herself on TV.
There's Greg Biffle. He's led 117 of the 164 laps today. He's locked up the bonus for leading the most laps. Because it has been quite a performance.
It sure has, in a car that, when I talked to Newton Moore, the crew chief on this car yesterday, he was very unhappy with it, trying to figure out exactly what he could do to make it perform the way that Greg wanted it to today, and looks like that Newt was able to find some things that worked pretty well.
Think they can make it on fuel, BP?
Pardon me?
Think they can make it on fuel?
I don't know, Marty, can they make it on fuel?
Yes, they can, BP.
Thank you.
And Biffle jokes that they should pit on the next caution. But I asked Newt, is he serious? And he goes, you never can tell with Biffle, but I'm telling you, we're not going to pit anymore today. So what would you do, BP and Wally? I mean, this car came out. It's a brand new race car. Was not planning to go to Charlotte next week, but if it wins the race today, I think you got to take it to Charlotte next week, don't you?
I agree with you, Marty. What about you, Wally?
That's exactly what I would do.
Yes, indeed. I mean, you know, once a driver finds a race car that he likes, and this car's been so dominant today, yeah, I would take this one, Charlotte.
I'd take
and
this
everywhere
thing
else.
I think exactly until it lost. I'd be taking every race until it lost.
Leads by 2 seconds over Mark Martin. Martin Truex Jr. has worked his way up to 12th.
He's been kind of sitting in 12th there for about the last 10 laps, and he passed a bunch of cars and got to that 12th spot. Kind of hanging there. Boyer runs in 3rd.
There's Truex Jr. in the 8, John Wood in the 47. It was the front row when we started the race.
And currently they're running 12th and 13th. Alan?
Well, Wally's right. Martin Truex Jr. has been hung in 12th place for a while there, BP. Says he can't get the car to turn. He's not gaining on the cars in front of him. As crew chief Kevin Mannion just said, do the best you can. We know you're trying as hard as you can. If we get a caution, we'll try and fix it. That could be interesting to see.
Yeah, it really wouldn't. And I mean, he may lose a spot here, Alan, and we're showing Boyer has taken the lead in the championship at the moment as they run right now, and this isn't going to help Truex at all. Losing another spot.
2 weeks ago, Martin 204 points in front in the race for the Busch championship.
Oh, and now he's 10 behind Clint Boyer. And I'd say if Clint Boyer had to take the lead, I don't think we could have found a better place than here in Kansas.
Because?
He's from Emporia, Kansas, and where he started his driving career, where they announced last year at this racetrack that he would be driving the 2-car this year for Richard Childress.
There's Boyer. 3.3 seconds behind Biffle.
And Boyer in this 2-car, they started off 2005 slowly. And you wondered, was he going to get the job done? But about halfway, it's like the light turned on. He has just been phenomenal. Alan?
Well, Benny, I talked to Clint Boyer about racing for this NASCAR Busch Series championship before the race today. He said, I've won championships before. And, you know, there's more money, there's more pressure, there's certainly more press at this level. But it really comes down to the same thing. Get the most you can out of every race. Keep your eyes on the guys you're racing with and play it smart. They played it smart today. Clint was back in traffic at the start of this race in 10th spot. Didn't push it too hard. Took care of his car in the first run. And you certainly would have to say that the strategies worked out for them as well, too. He is so excited to be in this position contending for this championship. And so very calm about it. Calmer than you'd think.
He is pretty laid back.
He's got a bit of a problem now because Johnny Sauter in that one car. Well, that Sauter had outrun him about half second the previous lap, but that lap Boyer was a little bit faster than Johnny Sauter.
Flynn has been in the top 5 of the championship standings since the second race of the season.
And Mark Martin is on the apron of the racetrack.
I think he's got a flat tire.
2 rounds down right rear. 2 rounds down right rear. 2 tires again.
Right.
2 rounds down right rear.
Right front.
No, Pat, I need some air in that tire.
Right. Go ahead, Matt.
And you could hear Mark on the radio. He screamed on the radio half a lap ago. And the guys jumped up on the wall. He is away now. Moments before that, when he came by a lap ago, Pat said, look, our worst mileage has us at 5 laps shy of making on fuel. Our best is half a lap, so do all you can to conserve. I don't think they were going to pit again until they had this issue with the tire. The crew guys are looking it all over right now. We'll get back to you in a moment.
Yeah, the right front tire, as Wally pointed out, was flat on the 9 car.
So that's Mark had that problem. Edwards has had some tire issues today as well.
2 flats.
J.J. Yaley.
Currently running in the 7th position. And he started today 41st. J.J., way to go.
On the back door of Harvick. You talked about Boyer coming along. Unfortunately, Paul Menard is going to have a disappointing end to his day, but a similar season for Paul.
And J.J. Yaley as well.
Yes.
All 3 of these drivers, the last half of the NASCAR Busch Series season, they have all come to the front and running very, very well.
Busch is right behind these guys in the 5, and behind him is Denny Hamlin in the 20, who started 31st and runs 8th. Kyle qualified 29th. Has worked his way up into the top 10, running in that 8th position.
There we see Mark Martin, the 9 car, who is a lap behind Kyle Busch in the 5.
He's in 22nd spot right now.
Biffle is the race leader. Let's work in a top 10 through the field here. Marty, get us started.
And Bill Greg showing why he's so good at this racetrack. His worst finish here in the Busch Series is 4th, trying for his first ever Kansas win. He's asked for 2 things from his team. The distance, he is ahead of 2nd place, and the 2nd place man's lap time. That's all he wants. They are good to go on fuel. Alan?
Well, Clint Boyer came out here to test at Kansas about a week and a half ago, stayed here, meeting with family, friends. He said he had to go back to North Carolina for a couple days to get some rest before he came back here to race. He's given those friends and family a great show here today. Johnny Sauter just called into crew chief and team manager Mark Reno, asking about his lap times, wanting to know how he was comparing to Clint Boyer and to the race leader. He still hasn't given up on that win thing. Dave?
Casey Kane should be good to go for fuel till the end of the race. Car has been handling a little bit better. 4th start for Casey here. By far the best he's run so far here at Kansas Speedway in the Busch Series. Matt.
Dave, this is not so bad for a guy who said his car was junk earlier. That's Matt Kenseth, currently in the 5th position. Car is still way too tight for Matt, driving the car that he won Atlanta with last year, hoping to finish here in the top 5. Matt?
And J.J. Yaley had a great run here last year, but he had to pit late, lost the track position, finished 6th. He's saying right now that he is staying out till the end. They can make it on fuel. Dave Burns.
21 of Kevin Harvick should be able to make it on fuel. His problem will be tires. He's been complaining about not having any for quite some time now, and the car just doesn't want to turn for him as well. Matt?
And Kyle Busch, what a run he has had. He's been at the back. He's worked his way up to the front. The car hasn't been perfect, but he has really searched around trying to find different lines to help the car. It's been a little loose most of the day, though. He is running in the 8th position. Snyder?
Matt, Denny Hamlin started the day in 31st position. Currently, he is running in the 9th position. Tomorrow, he'll make his Cup Series debut in the number 11 FedEx car. Right now, Denny's car just a little bit too tight. What it's been most of the day, Matt.
And Jason Leffler rebounded from that pit road miscue, working in the top 10, trying to improve on that. He's had a great run with this team, 3 straight top 10 finishes. The car, though, a little tight on exit. And the 5 crew is getting ready for a possible pit stop. Caution.
Caution is out.
T.J. Bell has made contact with the outside retaining wall.
83 of Raines is the last car on the lead lap in the 21st position.
Is he a lap down?
No, he's
Martin
there are
might
21. That's what I was waiting for. Waiting for that official confirmation. But there are 21 cars on the lead lap.
Well, I was going to say Mark Martin may be the lucky dog.
There you go. You're exactly right.
And we're getting some kind of confirmation.
Mark Martin is now officially the lucky dog. And Paul Menard has returned to the race in the 11 car. There he is, 42 laps down in the 37th position.
Well, he can go by Bobby Labonte and pick up another position. Paul Menard can. All right. Now then, with 17 laps to go, will these guys stop and give up track position?
There'll be people stopping. I don't know if it'll be the guys in front, but
yeah, just how far back is the line going to go, Marty?
Well, BP, there's a bit of an issue. T.J. Bell's car has no brakes, and he's stuck here on pit road, and he was stopped in Greg Biffle's pit. Now he's in an opening. They're going to try and push him back, but now here come the cars to pit road, so they're trying to get the 36 car out of the way as soon as they can.
The field is up in turns 3 and 4, and it's about decision time for some of these guys.
We'll see what happens.
Green flag.
Thank you.
this is what a lot of Cup guys are watching for, to see what needs to be done tomorrow if this happens late in the race. Right now, track position is working out for that one car.
Biffle in the 66.
That's the problem with Biffle. He's got good tires, but he's got nowhere to go. He can't get by these guys until he gets off the corner and down the straightaway.
And it's going to take
even there.
Oh,
wow.
Kyle Busch thought about making it 3 wide, is still thinking about it.
This is going to get.
See somebody like Jason Keller smoking in the back.
Yep, somebody is.
Guess he's knocked the fender in on the left rear tire, or the left front tire.
Yeah,
it is Keller's car.
There you see the damage on that left front tire. And here comes a
Casey Kane on the bumper of the leader, Johnny Sauter. 12 to go.
And Matt Kenseth has moved up to the 3rd position with 2 fresh tires. Here comes Casey Kane. Mark Truex bound for the lead.
Kane to the point. There's a lot to watch right now.
No. We're watching out the window on the screen, and Kenseth that last lap was about 0.3 of a second faster than the leader.
But look at Biffle all the way up to 4th right there. Boy, he must be flying. Got through that traffic. A tire rub reported on the 18 of J.J. Yaley.
Yeah, they really got boxed up on that restart. There's a lot of guys running into each other.
Marty?
Biffle trying to prove that the request for those 4 tires was the right call, and he said, give me some help with Matt Kenseth, asking them to help him move over a little bit so Biffle can have some room. Clearly he's coming, but does he have enough time with only 10 to go?
Oh, I think he does, as fast as he's going right now.
And Kenseth won't be an issue here, I don't believe.
It's kind of like chewing gum, though. You know, after the first few chews, that stuff is really good, but that's like tires. The first few laps are really good, but after that,
Biffle under Kenseth. That's for 3rd. He's got 2 more cars to catch.
And he'll catch him pretty easy. His car's a bunch quicker right now.
Remember, Johnny Sauter is a determined driver. He's in second in that blue car.
Thing is, as good as Biffle's car is working, he can get that blue car loose if he wants to. If he wants to just drive right up behind him. Boyer loses spot to Harvick.
That's surprising there.
Yeah, puts him in 6th position.
Meanwhile, here comes Biffle. Trying to get on the inside of Sauter. Can't quite make it.
Working on Sauter for second.
And see, it gets his bumper right on that rear bumper. Got the car loose, and there was nothing the one could do right there.
We watch this. Alan, what do you got?
Clint Boyer has just come on his radio. I've got a loose wheel.
Oh.
Keep an eye on him, see if he pits.
He's very, very slow, talking about Clint Boyer. Meanwhile, Biffle is taking over that second
Boyer's
spot.
coming in. He couldn't make it. Missed pit lane.
Come on, dig, buddy, dig.
He slowed down but could not get onto pit road.
Six and a half laps to go.
Caution, rookie car crash, turn 2.
Caution down.
Mike Wallace, Todd Bodine.
52 just stopped us, boys.
And this is a huge break for Clint Boyer.
Boy, I guess.
And we're all done.
Boyer is second in the championship standings.
Well, the fact that he can pit on the caution flag is a huge break, but the fact that he has to stop it all is going to be a disaster for him.
But it could have been a lot worse. They're going to make the best of a bad situation right here. Came into the day just 26 behind Truex. Earlier in the day actually led by 7 points.
I think it's the left rear. It usually is the left rear that loosens up on these because these lug nut. Mike Wallace going very fast with the wrecked race car.
He may be looking for somebody. I didn't hear who he said. 32 maybe is who he's angry at.
Been some communication on his team radio. Mike on the apron now.
We heard the comment that some car, the spotters say that so-and-so dumped us. And Matt has said it was the 32 car that made contact with Mike Wallace.
Well, Mike finds his way to pit road, and there's Clint Boyer, second in the championship standings on pit road. Headed down to you, Alan.
Yeah, like you were talking a second ago, Bill, you look at this as a good break and a bad break. The bad break that they had the loose wheel, kind of a lucky break that he missed pit road, and it gave him an opportunity to pit after the caution came out. But he's going to have to restart way back in line. They're going to change all 4 tires on this car. You see him making a wedge adjustment in the right rear jacking bolt. They will have a very good look at these wheels coming off the car to see what was left loose. Mistakes on a pit stop before they get hurt.
And mistakes that can certainly cost a championship because Clint Boyer had a terrific run going today.
3 to go. We'll see what happens.
Gotta get a restart.
Oh, did he ever?
But here comes Biffle.
Yeah, here comes those 4 tires.
Yeah, he's got a full head of steam going now.
Moves to the inside. Kane slams the door.
It's okay to block a little bit right now, but like I said, Biffle's got a good car. He's going to loosen up the guy in front of him, especially if he's not on as good as tires.
2 to go.
Johnny Sauter sitting back there just watching all this.
And Matt Kenseth is moving right behind Sauter, too. Off of turn 2. Biffle looking at the back fender of Casey Kane. Kane down low.
Check the bottom, bud.
Here comes
Check the
Biffle
bottom.
looking on the inside. Dead even as they come to the white flag.
Oh, and Casey Kane's not going. He's going to run hard on the outside. Biffle, he's still there.
Loose.
He's still there. Oh,
Oh, I'll tell you what.
What a job both of those drivers did.
That was impressive.
The beginning of the day, we talked about how this track has earned a reputation for producing close finishes, and here comes another one. Greg Biffle and Casey Kane out of 4 to the line for the checkers.
And Casey Kane has the run.
Kane wins.
Wow. That is a great job. I did not think Casey Kane could hold them off.
Casey Kane exiting the 6 car, and the boys have been shaking those beverages up for about 10 minutes now, waiting for a chance to use them. And there it goes. Big time victory for Casey Kane here, holding off Greg Biffle at the end. How in the world did you do that on the outside line?
Really, I have no idea. You know, Greg had the best car all day. He was the fastest guy here, and we made the right call. Tripp told me to stay out. We had old tires. The Goodyears worked well, and just cool to get in victory lane with the Ragu Dodge, Ray Evernham. Everybody gives us a great race car, and I think it had a lot to do with engines. Evernham engines was pretty strong right there, so he definitely was getting through the corner better, but we could kind of draft with him down to use the side of his car and just had a little bit more momentum off turn 4.
And did you know that your car was better on the high side, or that he would be worse on that low side trying to pass you?
Well, you know, he wanted to be on the low side and I wanted to be on the low side, but he got me to the outside, and then it was just a matter of staying real close to him and keeping him kind of loose, and you got to kind of race like that on the last lap. But, you know, Greg had a great car. We just were able to hold him off, and very lucky to do that today.